Hello and welcome to A Streetcar Named Desire, PowerPoint on the introduction to the characters of the play written by Tennessee Williams. In this PowerPoint, you are going to discover how complex the characters are. In and of themselves they are complex, but more importantly, their relationships are very complex. Let's start with Blanche. Not quite a heroine, Blanche is the complicated protagonist of the play. She's a faded Southern belle without a dime left to her name. And after generations of mismanagement led to the loss of the family fortune, Blanche spent the end of her youth watching the older generation of her family die out before losing their plantation, Belle Reve. Blanche tries to continue being a Southern belle of her youth, but she's too old and has seen too much, and soon her grip on reality begins to slip. She turns to alcohol to cope and alleviate her delusions. She has difficulty understanding the passion in her sister's marriage and is coolly calculating in all of her relationships. Stella Kowalski, Blanche's younger sister, is about 25 years old. She's 5 years younger than Blanche, and she's pregnant with her first child. Stella has made a new life for herself in New Orleans and is madly in love with her husband Stanley. Their idyllic relationship is steeped in physical passion. Stella is forthright and unapologetic about the nature of her relationship with her husband, and although she loves her sister, she is pragmatic and refuses to let anything come between her and Stanley. Stanley Kowalski, Stella's husband, is a man of solid blue-collar stock, direct, passionate, and often violent. He has no patience for women in general, and he definitely has no patience for Blanche. Moreover, he is a controlling and domineering man, demanding subservience from his wife in the belief that his authority is threatened by Blanche's arrival. Blanche, however, sees him as a primitive ape, driven by only instinct. In the end, though, Stanley proves that he can be as cold and calculating as Blanche is, and he manipulates his relationships. Harold Mitchell, or Mitch in the play, is one of Stanley's friends. Mitch is a tough and he's unrefined and he has an imposing physical body. He's massively built and powerful. But on the other hand, he is also deeply sensitive and compassionate. His mother is dying, and this impending loss affects him profoundly. He's attracted to Blanche from the start, and Blanche hopes that he will ask her to marry him. Indeed, Mitch is a fundamentally decent man and seeks only to settle down. But when the truth about Blanche's history comes to light, he feels swindled by her. Blanche and Stella come from a world that is rapidly dying. Belle Reve, their family's ancestral plantation, has been lost, and the two sisters are the last living members of their family. And they are really what is symbolic of the Old South. This steady march of time that has gone on is what has conquered their plantation. And as Blanche's beauty fades with age, so too do these vestiges that civilization of the Gone with the Wind civilization has come to pass. Blanche attempts to stay back in the past, but it's impossible, and Stella only survives by mixing her Dubois blood with the common stock of the Kowalskis. The Old South can only live on in a diluted form. Stanley sees his sexual relationship with his wife to be one of the most important aspects of their marriage. Although Stella and Stanley fight, their physical relationship is the way that they make up and forgive each other. Stella herself realizes that their sex life helps them smooth out their marriage. She says to Blanche, "There are things that happen between a man and a woman in the dark that sort of make everything else seem important." Well, she says this after he hit her. And don't forget, she's pregnant. So essentially, Stanley's way of showing his wife that he loves her happens through sex. Mitch and Blanche are an example of a codependent relationship that is founded on mutual loneliness and the desire to be with somebody, anyone, to distract themselves from previously suffered emotional damage. The only reason these two are together at all is out of mutual need. Or, as Mitch says, you need somebody, and I need somebody too. Could it be me and you, Blanche? Mitch might have his own reasons for liking Blanche, but we have a hard time believing that she harbors any real feelings for him. When they meet, it's clear that she has to carry the conversation entirely herself. Mitch is a bit slow, definitely awkward, and way inexperienced with women. This is in part why it's so easy for Blanche to manipulate him. It's more about what Mitch can do for her than who Mitch actually is, and it's more about being married at all than it is about having him in particular as a husband. Blanche and Stanley, boy, the conflict between them drives much of A Streetcar Named Desire. The sexual tension between Blanche and Stanley from the moment they first meet is apparent. Stella's out of the picture when they first meet. She's in the bathroom washing her face, and the first time Blanche encounters Stanley, he wants to take off his shirt to get more comfortable. Well, while Blanche pretends it's okay, and she kind of checks him out a little bit, we know later that she feels very uncomfortable. One important characteristic of Blanche is that she seems unable to relate to men in a non-sexual way, even men with whom it would be completely inappropriate for her to have a sexual relationship, i.e., her brother-in-law Stanley. In fact, she seems desperate to seek Stanley's sexual approval, and she's always fishing for compliments about her physical appearance. So what you have here is just an overview of the characters and their complexities. And as you can see by this narration, they are very complex in their relationships. As you read the play, begin to start to make connections between all of our pre-reading activities and the play itself. And also keep in mind what motivates each character. Thank you for watching, and I appreciate your patience with my narration. Thank you. Bye-bye.